There's a voice inside your head. You know the one. It whispers when you're about to try something new, something bold. It questions, doubts, and criticizes. It reminds you of past failures, magnifies your flaws, and tells you that you're not good enough. This voice has a name, the inner critic. But where does it come from? And more importantly, how do we silence it? Imagine this. You're a child, fearless, unafraid to stumble, to fall, to make mistakes. Every crayon stroke is a masterpiece. Every story you tell is an epic adventure. But over time, something changes. The world starts to whisper back. Teachers correct. Peers judge. Parents scold. Slowly, those external voices seep in, planting seeds of doubt. They grow roots, intertwining with your thoughts, until their words sound like your own. The inner critic is not your voice. It's an echo of others, distorted and internalized. It thrives on fear of failure, rejection, and even success. Yes, success. Because success demands change, and change is uncomfortable. The inner critic prefers the comfort of the familiar, even if the familiar is self-doubt. Think about it. How often have you held back? Not because you couldn't, but because you thought you couldn't. That thought wasn't born from truth, but from repetition. The more you hear it, the more you believe it. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. Our brains are wired to focus on the negative as a survival mechanism. In ancient times, this helped us avoid danger. Today, it tricks us into avoiding growth. But here's the secret. You don't have to believe every thought you think. Your mind is like a stage. Thoughts enter, play their part, and exit. The inner critic is just one actor. You are the director. You decide who gets the spotlight. To silence the inner critic, you first have to notice it. Awareness is the first step. When that familiar voice pipes up, pause. Ask yourself, is this true? Is it helpful? Would I say this to a friend? Chances are, the answer is no. Next, reframe the narrative. Instead of, I can't do this, try, I'm learning how to do this. Shift from judgment to curiosity. Replace I failed with I discovered a way that didn't work. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Consider this. Thomas Edison made thousands of unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he replied, I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. His inner critic didn't win. His curiosity did. But what if the inner critic is persistent, loud, and convincing? Then, it's time to challenge it directly. Write down its words. See them on paper. This externalizes the voice, making it easier to analyze. Question its validity. Gather evidence against it. If it says, you're not smart enough, list your achievements, your skills, the times you proved that voice wrong. Another powerful technique is visualization. Picture your inner critic not as an authority, but as a cartoonish character, small, exaggerated, even ridiculous. Give it a squeaky voice. Shrink it down. When you take away its intimidation factor, you strip it of its power. Now, let's delve deeper. The inner critic often wears disguises: perfectionism, procrastination, imposter syndrome. These aren't separate issues. They're masks. Perfectionism says, if it's not flawless, it's worthless. Procrastination whispers, you're not ready yet. Imposter syndrome insists, you don't belong here. But perfection is an illusion. Read that again. Perfection doesn't exist. It's a moving target, always just out of reach. Chasing it only fuels the inner critic. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear in disguise. fear of not meeting expectations, fear of failing, or sometimes even fear of succeeding and raising the bar higher. Imposter syndrome? It thrives in high achievers. The more you accomplish, the louder it gets, convincing you that you're a fraud, despite evidence to the contrary. So how do you dismantle these masks? Start by embracing imperfection. Aim for progress, not perfection. Set small, achievable goals. Celebrate each step forward, no matter how minor. Action silences doubt. Momentum builds confidence. Practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Acknowledge your efforts, your growth, and your courage. Self-compassion isn't self-indulgence. It's a necessity for resilience. Surround yourself with voices that uplift, not those that echo your inner critic. Community matters. Feedback is valuable, but discernment is key. Not all criticism is constructive, and not all opinions are worth holding on to. Lastly, redefine success. It's not a destination, it's a journey. It's not about flawless execution, but about showing up, trying, learning, and evolving. Remember, the inner critic will always be there, a background murmur. But it doesn't have to be the narrator of your story. You hold the pen, you write the script. Silence isn't the absence of noise. It's the refusal to let the wrong voices define you. So, when that voice whispers, "You're not enough," respond with a louder truth. I am more than enough. I am a work in progress, and that is powerful. This isn't just about silencing the inner critic. It's about unlocking your true potential. One thought, one step, one courageous choice at a time. Silencing the inner critic isn't about eliminating it completely. It's about learning to coexist with it in a way that no longer limits your potential. By recognizing its tactics, challenging its lies, and replacing its voice with your own empowering truth, you reclaim control over your mind and your future. The power to change, to evolve, to unlock your true potential has always been within you. The inner critic is just a shadow, a temporary obstacle in your path. And with each step you take towards your authentic self, that shadow will grow fainter until it no longer holds any power over you. Remember, your true potential is waiting to be realized. Don't let the inner critic keep you from reaching it. The time to unlock your greatness is now.